All right, here we go. Everybody, we are back. It is Taped Online's favorite Raiders podcast, favorite Raiders channel, favorite Raiders everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also, follow us on Twitter at DMarkJohnNFL for me, and also MHolder95 for Matt. All right, and also, of course, Panda Subs. TDL 15%, 35% off. Sorry about that. 35% off. Go ahead. Make sure you support that. Support Panda Supplements as well. And of course, we're going to talk about this terrible Raiders loss today, the instant reaction. 38-10 was the official score. So definitely I was hoping not to see a blowout today, but that's what happened. They looked really outmatched and definitely looked like the weaker team overall against a really strong contender. So that wasn't a fun game to watch. I mean, it started off good. I was like, oh, man, it started off pretty exciting. I was like, oh, wow. But go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I was going to say they jump out to a 7-0 lead. So the Bills, outside of that possession, 38-3 in response. But, yeah, it started off hot. But boy, yeah, that was a quick reminder that to bring the Raiders back down to earth a little bit after I think feeling themselves. I was feeling more confident in them heading into this game. I'm like, you know what, 8.5 points, like that's a big spread. Like I feel like the Raiders can hang around and showed some fight last week. Bills didn't look like they're on their game, and then at 28, it ends up being a 28-point loss. So. Yeah, I guess, and the spread came down to 7.5 by kickoff. So a lot of people
really
putting money on the Raiders. Yeah, that's what I said on ESPN. So
that's crazy.
Not exactly what you're hoping for.
No, it was not what you're hoping for at all. I thought they came out. I always talk about Josh McDaniels has a great first 15 all the time. I think they had a great first drive. They ran that jet sweep. They had some screens in there. They kind of mixed that in. I think they were trying to get the screens going early, which I talked about on the TDL, on the preview episode, about them running a lot of those screens because they like to rush up field. And I think they had that early, but then when Jimmy didn't throw the ball onto the ground and tried to get it over top of Greg Rousseau's head, and then they got tipped, an interception, it was downhill from there. That's really what it was. After that play, man, it went really downhill from that kind of moment. So it was just, it wasn't too good.
Yeah, not a great showing from Garoppolo, not a good showing from the offensive line. Once again, even worse. Even worse than last week. It was the screen, but I think Andre James didn't even impede whoever it was who was trying to block on that play, and was in Jimmy Garoppolo's lap as he tried to throw the screen too. But just an all around bad game. Just the old fashioned ass whooping there for you. I don't know what else to say.
Quick, man. Quick and over with, real quick. Yeah. So let's start with the offense. Of course, they couldn't run the ball again. I think that's a big problem. I don't know what tell they're giving right now at this point. I feel like they're giving some kind of tell on first and second down, where these guys are just crashing because, you saw Jordan Poyer get in the backfield a little bit a couple times. You saw some of these other players kind of get in the backfield, all the safeties and linebackers. So there's some kind of tell they're giving away with the run game, but it's not looking good at all. It's crazy how good they look in pass protection and then how bad it looks in the run game. So, I don't know what their plan is there, but they got to figure something out. They didn't even play Johnson this game, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't really remember him playing it all much either, too. But I wonder if part of it is not necessarily a tell, but teams just basically saying, make Jimmy Garoppolo beat you. You know what I mean? Until he proves that he can beat you down the field and he win deep and whatever or whatnot, especially without Jacoby Myers, why not sell out and stop the run? And Josh Jacobs is going to finish with a career low of -2 yards. So not exactly what you're hoping for. The ground game's got to get going. Outside of Trey Tucker and then some garbage time runs by Zamir White, the Raiders got held to negative yards rushing, which obviously you can't win like that in the NFL. I don't care how the game's turned. You can't not have half of your offense in there. And again, big part of it was the offensive line. I felt like a lot of what we talked about last week got like even like intensified this week or whatever. Like no push. I mean, today they weren't even not getting no push; they were getting beat. Like Greg Van Roten had a rough game, especially in the first half. I mean, Salem Parham struggled too. Like the interior guys, like when you have your two guards like not being able to not only not get push, but to get beat, like you can't get the running game going, no matter what you're trying to do. And they needed it today.
Yeah, and you made a good point because, you know, the Raiders are seeing a lot of man-to-man single coverage. I mean, that's why early on you were seeing Devontae Adams able to get open because he's getting man-to-man coverage and they're not double teaming. And the reason for that is because they're not scared of Jimmy Garoppolo throwing downfield. And the Raiders have to try to find some way to attack downfield. I mean, he had Trey Tucker for a touchdown on that one play. If he had made a great throw on that, just the separation that Tucker was creating. If that was a good throw, he's hitting him right in stride and Tucker's still running. But, you know, Tucker had to slow down and then he gets pushed out of bounds. He still made a great catch, but he got pushed out of bounds in that play. So a lot of it is that they're seeing all these coverages that you would think you would be able to dominate with Devontae Adams. If you're getting single coverage, even where he's at, he's in the slot, he's wherever, you should be able to dominate passing the football. But you're not seeing that because I don't know. You know, there's times when he was looking deep. You could tell he's looking deep. And I don't know if somebody's not open there or if he just decides not to throw it and he tries to check it down. And that would happen on the interception of Matt Milano. He's looking deep and then he just forces a check down. Like dog, you can't do that. You got a clean pocket. Don't force a check down against the best linebacker, the coverage linebacker in football, maybe. I mean, he's up there, right? He's like top 5 coverage linebacker. He's going to make picks like that. He does it all the time. You can't just challenge some of these guys like you want to. So I think on offense, if you have that pass protection, because, you know, run blocking was terrible. But pass protection, they're still pretty damn good this game. When you have those clean pockets, you got to make some good reads and take the time to not panic and just get rid of the football just because your clock is ticking. So.
Yeah, that's the one thing where it's like I'm interested to see the film, like kind of like what you're talking about is like, is Devontae getting open and Jimmy's just staying like too robotic where he's not like, you know, just taking a chance on him like we would see with Derek Carr last year, is it just simply that Devontae's not, or that no one's getting open? Like, did they really miss Jacoby Myers that much this week? But I mean, like you said, you can't force balls into coverage when there's nothing there. Like we saw Jimmy Garoppolo almost play more like Josh Allen, like where the screen should have gone in the dirt.
Yeah,
it doesn't. It gets tipped and it gets picked. Well, yeah, you said the pass Milano wasn't there. It wasn't Jacobs wasn't open. Ball was probably a little high too, which is why Milano was able to jump over and make the pick. And I mean, you can't have those kind of plays like. That as good as Jimmy Garoppolo played, as good as Jimmy Garoppolo managed the game, they needed him to be a difference maker today, especially without a running game, and it kind of showed his shortcomings.
Yeah. I mean, if they're crashing the run, though, I feel like you got to use more play action on first down. I tweeted that out. True. Like you got to mix it up on first down a little bit. I know in your first 15, maybe that's not what you really wanted to do because it was funny. When I was watching the game, I mean, the first 15 they had 5 plays, so they stayed in that first 15 for a little bit. So you can kind of tell what they were trying to do early on in the game. But I mean, after seeing how they're crashing on the run, I think you got to add in some play action, kind of make those linebackers are crashing. You can hit these guys over the middle. We still haven't seen Jimmy Garoppolo throw over the middle of the field, which is a little bit of my problem too. Like, Josh McDaniels gets into this thing where he wants to turn every quarterback into Tom Brady. He even did it with Cam Newton, where he's trying to turn Cam Newton to this Tom Brady pocket passer. And I don't think that works with Jimmy Garoppolo. You got to just throw it in the middle of the field, try to make those things happen because I think they're throwing outside way too damn much with him. And it's just not his strength. You know what I mean? Like, you watch him on film for all these years. Kyle Shanahan never would have did this shit. So that's why I'm like, it's weird to watch, to be honest.
Well, you say that, Neil, it's frustrating to me is 2 guys that can win over the middle of the field, Hunter Renfrow and Michael Mayer. They've had 2 total targets in the last 2 games, and Renfro's came in garbage time this week. He gets 1 catch for 23 yards, and then comes out of the game, and it's like those guys aren't being utilized too, and it's like, whoa. At this point, you got to try something else. And especially if Myers is gonna be out for another week, like you got to give one of those 2 guys more, make them a bigger part of the game plan. Especially if like you're saying, they're forcing it out wide too much. Got to get that tight end, your slot receiver involved. But
yeah, and they might not even have Devontae next week. He got popped in the head. So,
Yeah.
late in that game, they might
Cleveland
have
Browns.
Adams next week, man. So it might be without Myers, without Adams. So it's gonna be it. Oh man. So hopefully Adams is okay because they're gonna need him
Speaking
next
of
week. What? What's going on?
Bill, I was just gonna say, Bill just texted us about Devontae's being evaluated for concussion. So, you want to take that real quick and take a break?
Let's get this done real quick. I guess we'll get to that. Because we'll get to that. Because we got to just finish. We'll finish this real quick because it's not really exciting. And I'm for sure Raider Nation doesn't want to hear our negative talk about this negative game too much anyway. So, but let's get to the defense. Let's get to defense. Defensively, I think they were prepared for a aggressive Josh Allen, and they got a conservative Josh Allen. He just picked them apart. That's really what I feel like happened. They picked them apart.
Yeah,
kind of just took what the defense gave them all game. They tried to stop the deep ball. Marcus Peters, he looks a little shaky out there. I think the secondary kind of looked how they looked last week, but Russell Wilson was missing things, and just Josh Allen wasn't missing things that week. So it was a little difficult that way. But how did you feel about the defense a little bit? I mean, no pass rush, nothing happening.
I mean, like you touched on it. Like Josh Allen was picking him up, like was much more patient. But my thing too is like going back to our episode from our Friday's episode where like I talked about the Raiders need to keep the Josh Allen behind schedule offensively, or the Raiders need to keep the Bills offense behind schedule to get Josh Allen into hero ball. And I mean, I don't really feel like they did all day. Like I'd be interested to see like those Warren Sharp stats about like early success on like run or pass, early success on early downs, and I'd be willing to bet that the Bills had a lot of success. Like they weren't in a lot of third and longs tonight, which is part of the reason why, or it's today, which is part of the reason why they had like I think an over 50% conversion rate, and then on top of that, we're three of four on fourth down. So like that was my biggest thing is like we talked about it all last week. Raiders need a pass rusher to step up outside of Max Crosby. Max Crosby been chipped and double teamed all day. No one else stepped up. No pressure on Allen. And two, got to keep him behind schedule. Didn't do that, and you see what it is. It's 38-point ball game for the Bills, and Allen goes back to looking like the MVP he was almost down there. First time he hasn't thrown a pick in 5 games. So.
Oh wow! See, that's crazy. Yeah, and the Raiders still don't have any turnovers yet. I mean, that's one of the biggest problems they've had for years is no turnovers, and one of those reasons is because we're not forcing the quarterback to think quickly. So, I mean, Josh Allen, he was bailing out of some pockets where he shouldn't have. Max Crosby, sometimes he was losing contain still a little bit. I don't know what they're coaching them on with rushing the passer, but they don't play well with like quarterbacks that can get out of the pocket. I don't know what that is about or what they're trying to do Crosby with that, but it's not working.
They struggle with that against the run too, and it's multiple guys. Like Crosby did it against the run where he tries to go inside. I think he might have thought it was a pass or something like that, and he tried to go into the B gap. Someone was already there, and they end up losing the edge. Jacorian Bennett has a chance to make a open field tackle on the edge, misses. Like so far, it's so many different guys. Like that's you're right. Like at this point, like it's got to be on the coaching. Like they're for whatever reason they're not getting them to stay gap disciplined and stay outside and contain the edge because the Bills. It felt like for the most part, like what I could feel like or what I noticed was every time the Bills wanted to run like outside zone, they could get the edge. Like and sometimes the Raiders made it easy for them. Like so. Yeah,
I mean, it was just. They just got beat down today. I mean, that's really what it was. I mean, there's really no other way to get around it. I'm interested to see the film and see what Jimmy was seeing because I still think he had a lot of time. I thought he had plenty of time to if he could have picked this team apart like the DeAndre Carter miss. I mean that was a big miss when you threw that ball short. I mean DeAndre Carter's open. You have plenty of time. You had time to drift and hit him, and you throw it into the ground like way before he gets there. Skipped it to him, and then the deep ball to Tucker. That was a big miss to me because that would have been a huge play where they could have made some plays there, and and then he ends up getting Devontae Adams hurt late in the game, just throwing a hospital ball. So this game was definitely worrisome. I'm a little worried, to be honest. I mean, watching the offense against the Broncos, I was like, okay, that's like the first game. They only put 17 points. They could have put up more, but maybe it's just something. But now it's the second game in a row. They put up 10 points. They're probably what their average a game is probably like 13 points a game at this point after 2 games. That's not good, right? I mean, we're not playing offense like they should. And they have to figure that out quick because Josh they can't run the ball. I mean, they're struggling to pass, but they have good pass protection. So it's just it's a little frustrating. You know what I'm saying? It's frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like you said, like they right now, like I mean, after today, and I mean, the last 2 games I haven't been able to run the ball, and that's extremely frustrating. Having the rushing champ with like 25 yards on the year right now after 2 games, like it's a tough one. And I mean, and I know everyone wants to jump to conclusions and put it on Josh Jacobs, but it's really not. It's the guys up front that are just not getting it done right now. Like against the Broncos, they were serviceable, played a better defensive line today, and they got their asses kicked. So
yeah, they got beat up front, man. I mean, it really what it was.
Pissed off team too. Yeah, a team that was very clearly trying to prove that they can stop the run, and they had no answer.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if you have any more thoughts on this. I mean, I don't want to be this quick, but kind of a little frustrated with this game a little bit. So let's get to the questions here, man. I don't know if you got anything else to say. Anything else happened?
Sounds good to me. We make this one short one. I don't know if people are gonna really want to rehash this ugly loss. So
yeah. Let's get this. We got some questions in here. I thought I saw something in here.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna check in on the Chargers and the Chiefs.
Okay. Yeah, Bill wants us to write that article. Anyways, does Renfro still play for us? I don't know.
I think he ends up getting traded. I mean, if you're not going to use him, you might as well trade him. Like, take the cap hit or whatever it is. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but like, you're not using him. And today, like, Christian Wilkins got the start over him, which okay, that's fine. But they did not throw to him until it was a 28-point ball game. Like, you might as well get something for him if this is what you're going to do with him.
Yeah.
But yeah. By the way, Chiefs won.
The Chiefs won.
Yeah.
There was my parlay.
Titans won in overtime though. Chargers are 0-2.
Good Lord. All right. Any other questions here? I see a lot of AOC talk. My brother got mad at me when I said that with that offensive line that they would put up the same amount of production. The offensive line is playing with pass protection. He's like, you're being a homer. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like he has a quick release and he's accurate with a great offensive line. I feel like that maybe you can get away with it for a little bit with him, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just.
I mean, they still won't be able to run the ball.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem, right? I mean, the teams are stacking the box. They got to find some way to get the guys out of the box. I mean, because you got Jordan. If Jordan Poyer's in there making tackles in the backfield, that means the Bills are not playing their usual too high things they like to play. So, yeah, the teams are coming to stop the run, and the Raiders have to find some way to adjust. That means they got to do more play action. They got to do more things like that. Couple questions. Are you confident in Patrick Graham, Matt?
I mean, I'm not going to ignore last week and pretend like they didn't play bad or play well on defense last week, but it's definitely sliding. I mean, after today, I mean, we're just talking about, the coaching on them not being able to set the edge. And we named, I think we can probably find players at all 3 levels of the defense that have been guilty of it and whatnot. So it's definitely sliding, but I mean, still a little bit confident in them. They put together another game like this. Who they play next week? The Steelers on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah,
that's going to be. Then I'm going to be sliding pretty quickly. But
yeah, I mean, I put on Twitter. People got mad at me, but I mean, at least they got Kenny Pickett next week. It's not Josh Allen, so that's the positive. Is our D line that bad? I think so.
Yeah. I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be good going into this year, but like John Jenkins, like again, I'll be interested to dive into the film, but I felt like the defensive tackles were still getting pushed around. And again, like, I don't mean to single out him without watching it, but that's probably the only guy that they brought in to stop the run who isn't doing that right now. So
yeah. They're not stopping the run. They're not getting at the passer. Now it's just ridiculous. It's getting to the point.
Tyree Wilson has a chance to make a TFL, misses. Like, it's rough right now. It's rough. All right, we knew it was going to be bad. This bad's rough.
We're still in first place. See, there we go. LOL, there we go. We're still in first place. I like that positivity. And did Tyree Wilson play? He did, but we just, like I said, you don't know.
He did. He had a chance.
He played though.
Yeah,
he played.
He did.
He played.
I think he started actually.
Yeah. Why is Graham up there? Was it bad game? Was it bad game plan or execution? I just think they were just not talented enough. That was a towel.
I mean, here's what I'll say: you get your ass beat that bad, it's both.
Yeah. And
like,
why is
no, everyone's at blame? You know what I mean? It's one of those games.
All right, and then let's get to this before I get out of here. Let's see. Spencer Brown. Will Tyree develop over the year and contribute, or not looking good? I want to go to the film first before I really get into deep dive into Tyree. But
guys, what I will say, he hasn't played well. It's been 2 games.
It's been 2 games, right?
I know everyone wants an answer. It's been 2 games. 2 games.
Punted on 4th and 3. Yeah, I mean that's Josh McDaniels. I mean he punted on 4th and 1 like 8 times last year. Let's keep it real. Is Moreg back? See, I do want to answer this question.
I thought he played.
I don't think Moreg's bad. I think he does pretty good playing that zone and too high stuff. But if you put him in like guarding tight ends, you're not gonna have a good time. And they're not gonna be able to play man this year. So I saw some people on Twitter talking about play man. No, because if they start playing man, they're really gonna get beat. So they need to play zone and let Nate Hobbs roam and do those things. I think they'll do fine against like average quarterbacks, because average quarterbacks don't do good against zone. But if you have a Josh Allen, you're going to get picked apart, So yeah, that's kind of how it is. That's how this defense is, But we already got some Caleb Williams questions.
Game today.
We got some Caleb Williams questions already.
Oh yeah. In September,
I would love to see Caleb Williams with Josh McDaniels. That would definitely cause a fight. They would have a fight on the sideline by game 3. That would be awesome. I actually want to see that. I want to see Josh McDaniels and Caleb Williams try to have that dynamic, because Caleb Williams would just do whatever he wanted to do, and then Josh would be mad they won 30-7 because he didn't throw the dagger on the dig on dagger. So, all right, guys, let's get out of here. We're at about 22 minutes. I see some questions. Should they draft 5 defensive linemen last year? Yes, I'm going to answer that one. All right, let's do one more question, because I do like this one. I like this question. Do you think JMD understand who does what well? This is the question we're going to end with here. What do you think, Matt? What do you think? How do you feel about that question?
I think Josh McDaniels is going to do what Josh McDaniels thinks is best, and it doesn't matter, if that makes sense. So to answer the question, no. I mean, he might know that Hunter Renfro's a good creative slot receiver, but he's like, you know what, we're going to run my offense. We're going to run how I want it to be done. I just think he's stubborn and is stuck in his ways a little bit. I don't know. Curious for your opinion.
Yeah. Because even like Hunter Renfro, man, I think you got to let him do what he wants to do, and I think there's a dynamic there where it's like, I want you to do this. He's like, I want to do this. And then, I don't know. Sometimes Jimmy just passes him down. I don't know what that's about, but Josh McDaniels can do what Josh McDaniels wants to do, right? And that's really how the season is going to go, and that's how this team's going to go as long as he's the head coach. So he's the power man. He's going to keep the power, and they got to work something out, because even though the crazy Chandler Jones stuff, I mean, they kind of miss Chandler Jones a little bit. I don't know if they miss him or not. I don't know. We don't know if they do or not, because
at this point they could use him, at least try someone else, because no one else is winning. But I mean, obviously with Chandler, it's kind of looking like he shouldn't play football anymore. But it's a whole nother topic. That's another 30-minute podcast.
Yeah, I know. All right, guys. We'll be out of here. Definitely check out all the stuff we'll be doing this week. Definitely be covering all this game, even if it hurts us really bad. We're going to be covering it and watching that film and talking about it. So be on the lookout for all the film that we do this week, and check it out, guys. We are out of here. I appreciate you guys joining us. We almost got the 200 today, but definitely keep checking us out. Check out, of course, we got the review show, preview show, gambling show, all the other stuff that we post too as well. Make sure you guys keep checking everything out that we do. And of course, hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. All right. We're out of here, guys. Peace.